welcome, guys. OG Merpe coming at you, ready to run some D&D. This is formerly Tuesday night D&D, now moved to Wednesday night. Not to be confused with Wednesday night D&D, which is now on Friday. I'm going to start referring to this as my home game. This is my first game of D&D I've ever run. These are the first guys I ever really played D&D with and actually got into a real sustainable campaign. Um, and in exchange for, I picked up the Dungeon Master mantle. My DM who we're playing with, Anthony, he plays Simone, was my first DM in that group, and inspired me to pick up the mantle myself. So shout out to him. He'll be playing Simone. They're arguing right now who's going to give recap because nobody likes to do it, and I've assigned it to them via Matt Colville's advice. Shout out to him, and we're just going to see who they picked. They'll do some recap for us.
The ancient city of Isilde, right?
All right.
Yes.
Who are you guys? Sounds like Joe might be doing recap.
That's
Yes.
right.
All right, buddy. Lay it on us. What happened last week?
Okay, so last week we started in Edgetown, correct? We didn't end in the mine. So last week we met up with Lord Estebar and his son Willem, who is a big old punk. Willem was getting very agitated with the way that we were talking to him. Lord Estebar kind of set him straight, though Willem still had a bit of a temper. And then Estebar was very professional still, and then offered us a job to kill a bunch of orcs that are headed towards his town. He has people on the way as well. He has reinforcements on the way, but we don't know exactly when he's going to be able to give those. So we said we would kill some of his orcs. He would offer 50 gold pieces for their tusks. They are
For a pair of tests.
for a pair of tusks, correct. Their current location that we know of is halfway towards us and the ancient city of Isilde, where the ruins are, I believe, which is where the helmet is, or the helm is. We did a bunch of library research. We found out that the shield that I am wearing is called the Shield of Prophecy. The most recent place that it has resurfaced was in Lord Oldebrand's estate. Cade said because Lord Oldebrand's grandfather was an adventurer. There was the great dragon Alzarath, who was mentioned as well. One of the greatest and most ancient dragons, I believe. The acid dragon who's following us, whose name I have somewhere.
Party want to help you out?
I just want to see if I can.
No.
Nox.
There you go.
Nox is is spawn of Alzarath. Let's see. We found out a little bit more about the armor. We don't know who the craftsman is, but we know that each piece has a specific purpose. Let's see. For the Shield of Prophecy, we know it wasn't forged. I'm not going to talk about that. That's stuff that I know about the shield. We know the mask allows its wearer to use dragon's breath, and then there's a tale of a weapon, but the maker of the set is lost to time. We learned a little bit about dragons and their history. They came from a different plane. Their power is strong. They're drawn to our plane because they wanted to make it their own. Dragons were pretty common before, but not so much anymore, though they do exist in a few places. Nox leads the kobolds, we found out. He led them in the old Aragon War 100 years ago, which Oldebrand's grandpa was a part of. Let's see. We learned that Alzarath has destroyed the world more than once and has been beaten back by a combination of other dragons. Nox, I already mentioned that. We also found that the last place that the shield was seen was on a champion that was heading to fight Alzarath. Fun fact, also dragons can only have one brood, we found out. There have been some good dragons in the past that we know of. They'll exit from a fight if necessary. And then, let's see, right here we have that modern dragons are common enough still that most villagers tend to believe that they exist. And then I have here, Chris, you found 10 gold pieces from a glimmer lying around near a rock. That's the recap that I have. I don't know that we did much after we left the library. At least I don't have anything on that.
You party want to fill in after you guys left the library?
Yeah, we stayed. We then left to the orc camp and made up a tent there. Not the orc camp, the
Travelers, the fleers.
refugees.
Refugee camp. Yeah.
That's the word.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we discussed what we've learned in the library once we got there. We kind of wanted to get far away from Older Brand's estate before we started talking a little bit more openly about it.
Yeah.
And that's where we stayed.
That
Is there
feels
something else we're missing?
No, I mean that feels like a great recap to me. Unless you guys want to add anything, that sounds lovely. There was a lot of info dumping last. It was a library session, so a lot of things got learned. I got to talk about my world. Made me so happy. And now we're ready to get back into it. So as per the usual, super quick character intros from you guys. I will set the scene and we'll start rolling and hope that our players join us. Discord order, which means Aaron's up.
Oh,
As soon as the cat's out of the way.
He didn't want anybody to see that.
I don't know if you can
see what.
He's gone.
Aaron?
Bye,
Aaron? There we go. We can hear you now.
Sorry, Luna. My cat knocked my mouse off.
No, she would never do that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right behind me. I see your tail.
Yeah, I see like a blob.
Perfect. Welcome in, bud. And you're introducing Monzo. So.
Okay, so Monzo, he's in his 20s. He's a monk, light complexion. He wears a robe, some pieces of leather armor, but not a lot. He's bald, about 240 pound. He's under 6 foot, over 5. And recently he's become a bit of a kleptomantic, and he's been traveling with this group for about a month or two now.
Who's feeding his kleptomancy habits?
Exactly.
Love it. Great intro for Monzo. Welcome in, Tyler. You get to introduce Tesk.
Yeah, a Tesk is a sorcerer. He hails from the College for Arcane Arts. He's about 8.5 stone.
Nice.
A lot of different unit of measurement here.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. He has robes and shit. He recently got a pretty dope cloak that he can flip inside and out, whether it's raggedy and looks garbage or looks super fancy and elegant. He likes books and, magic missile.
And that's about it.
That's about it, yeah. He really only knows magic missiles, so.
For those of us that live on this side of the water, that's about 120 pounds.
Oh, man.
Across the pond.
That's great. Anthony, tell us about Simone.
Simone is a summoner. He's basically a Cholo elf with his Eidolon Will. Oh, yeah, with his Eidolon Will, who is a sassy cat.
Sassy cat.
Sassy.
Right.
Joe, tell us about Reed.
I am Reed, a young, supple boy of 18 as far as Monzo is concerned.
We are supple this week, huh?
I am on mission work, and I come from the Church of Iomade, the goddess of justice.
Yeah, she is.
That's Reed.
Yeah, she is. Soto, tell us about Kaithar.
Hi, I'm Kaithar.
Hi, Kaithar.
Hi, Kaithar.
He's a big brute of a man in his mid-30s. avenging his fallen tribe of barbarians who were killed by a bunch of orcs.
That's true.
He's just going around just looking for shit to fuck up, and hopefully one day he can get his hands on some orcs. Right now he's just traveling with this group from the original days of Irrigan, and did I mention he was a drunk barbarian? That's very specific to the character and the player.
It's a shared characteristic. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Hand in hand. But yeah, that's Kyther.
That's fucking great. And then I will introduce our characters not yet with us. There is Sigbert as well, who is an experienced human male fighter, which is basically, I think, the information that people have about him at this point. He's, modestly built. I think he has dark hair. And there's also Professor Arthur Struve from the University of New Birmingham, who is a gunslinger, veteran artilleryman from the King's Navy.
Here.
They will hopefully be joining us later in the session. So, we have you guys here in the refugee camp. The smell of the sea salt air, you were all lulled to sleep by the sound of crashing waves and snoring refugees after the din had died down at the Salty Lantern and that crowd had finally dispersed. You guys all came off this hard days at the library after a morning of fighting at the mines. Yesterday was quite a big day for all of you, and you wake up now on your 4th day in Edgetown, and one of you has something new has been added to your inventory, and you've been messaged on Discord about that. Also, in the early morning, as everyone is waking up, those of you who had items go missing have those items back in your inventory. Anybody who lost one to the dark figure, those are back, and there's a note accompanying each of those which says, "You really ought to take better care of your things," and it's signed Cade.
Cade.
Huh.
What a man.
I know. What a hunk of a guy.
Huge hunk.
So you guys are waking up, I'm assuming that Monzo is getting straight to breakfast, and you all awake to the smell of food being cooked, the sounds of people stirring all around you, the orange of the sunrise still bouncing off the sea here. What would you guys like to do? It's a new day.
Go ahead. No, you go.
I'm gonna tell everybody. Hang on, let me pull it up. Dude, I'm trying to find. I had a dream last night, and I think Aomade is trying to give us a warning. I don't think the orcs are after the town. I think they're coming for us. Aomade said to me, "They come for you seeking that which you carry, sent by another ancient adversary. The protection offered by the tallest wall betrays those behind the moment it falls." And she sent me images of orcs, and it looks like there are dragons with them. Maybe.
Damn. What do you mean they sent you a picture? Like you had a vision?
I had a vision, yes. Sorry.
And they're coming for... You think they're coming for our food, or...?
No, Monzo, you dork. And I'm going to point to the shield. I think they want this.
I'm going to be like, so you're telling me these, if we stay in town, they attack the town, right, Puto? Like,
I think so. But they're going to be chasing us either way, so...
They don't know, like, where we're at now. They just saw the beacon, like, stop here, right?
Oh, the beacon stop here? What beacon?
Yeah, when Cade took off that curse from like your shield, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that like stopped the beacon, right, fool?
Oh,
they were
right.
tracking
Am
us.
I loco, my cabeza? Like
No.
that's what
You're
happened.
No,
fine.
you're good.
I
You're
forgot
good. He's the
Cade
crazy one.
I forgot Cade took the beacon off. Right, I forgot there
So
was a beacon
like,
start.
can't we just like take a path like not traveled often, like walk around, fool?
Go around the orcs?
Well, it's just like an idea, fool. Like they're gonna come here, right? They're on their way this way. If we like take like a weird route around to the ruins,
Yeah, but
You
we
want to
can't
let the
let 'em
orcs
burn
have
the
the
whole
town?
down.
We can't let that happen.
hmm.
How many did you see in the vision?
A lot.
Well, use your fingers. How many? Like 6, 10, 20, 50?
Yes. And counting.
Are you
Count
like still
faster.
counting, fool? Is it hard to? Can you like ball?
No, it's not hard to count. There's a lot of them. There's this many, and I'm gonna flash
Like
my
50 fool, like 100.
I'm gonna flash my 10 fingers a bunch. They just keep going.
100.
So
I'm
that
sorry,
like,
my cat didn't give me an exact count.
is that
Reed,
like
so you have there are so
I'm
many
sorry,
you
my
cannot even
dog
count
didn't give
a
me
number.
That's what I'm trying to say.
There you go. So sounds like it's a scary amount.
Why God not know how to count?
Sorry, my god was telling me other important things.
God sounds stupid.
You saw a dragon as well, or more than one?
It looked like dragon wings, but I couldn't tell.
No, it could easily be a wyvern, maybe a small drake. Doesn't
Let's hope.
necessarily have to be a dragon, you know.
Let's
Like
let's
the
hope.
artist?
I mean, we
Yes.
do have one dragon after us already, don't we?
nah,
Sounds
fool?
like we
have
have a
like,
few dragons after us.
that's what Kate told us, fool. Are you okay? You're missing like giant parts of like our adventures together, fool.
Yeah, I'm good. I know there's dragons after us. That's what I said. There's at least one of them after us that we know of. We don't
Alright.
know if there are others yet.
Well, like the only walls in this town, fool, are like in the town center, right? And
Yeah.
then like the biggest area to defend from is like, and I point to the big ass citadel tower.
Right.
It's in the middle of the ocean. I'm all, is there. So we can be like a bunch of putos and try to hide up in there, right? And talk our way in shit, you know what I mean? But or we can go around, try to get this piece of armor and come back and try to sit the town, fool.
If we can get the armor before they get to the town, it's worth
Not
a
you,
shot.
fool. We, and I'm gonna point at like I'm gonna gesture at all of us.
What was the message that your God said again? What was the?
Do you want to write it down?
Yeah, I'll write it down.
They come for you, seeking that which you carry, sent by another ancient adversary. The protection offered by the tallest wall betrays those behind it the moment it falls.
Ah, fool. That sounds like we shouldn't go in there then. Because as soon as that thing falls, he says it betrays you, right?
Right?
Well, shit. Why would we go in there then?
Yeah.
That's my
Okay.
point. It sounds like stay away from walls and shit, right?
All right. We'll go with that.
Oh,
Yeah,
listen,
I think
I'm talking out loud here, fool. I'm just
I think it
trying
means
to.
hide. Don't hide. We should leave.
Let's go
That's-
then.
Well, a boy of action.
I just have a quick lore question, David.
Yeah, shoot.
Only because I was gone a little bit of last week.
Yeah,
Where? So I'm looking at the map. We're in Edgetown.
Correct.
Where are we supposed to be going again?
You
I guess
don't
I can
have a marker exactly here, but you guys are traveling south through the Crooked Gap, and then you're basically following that dotted line to where it tees off, which is, as you guys now know through your research, specifically Sigbert and his team. I think he was actually on your team, wasn't he? Wasn't it the two of you?
That is correct. It was Monzo and Sickler.
So you guys know from your research that because he was looking into that area, you were looking into dragon history, and he was looking into the like geography of this, the southern region, the area of Isulde, and you guys together found like an ancient road that used to connect Edgetown and Isulde that like is no longer maintained on the other side of the gap. But you guys have, I like specifically told you, like, you guys now have at least one solid route to get from here to there. And that was kind of where you ended your research in relation to where you're going.
We know a back path too, I believe.
Okay. So Mondo's going to say, well, I mean, clearly we probably shouldn't stay in the town. Maybe we could head down south to get the next piece, but stay off the road. I mean, orcs are going to be loud. We're going to hear them. I can even do the scouting. They won't be able to catch me. I could go on ahead and check and, report back. We don't know exactly where they are. They could be going to the wrong place. Maybe we can get around them.
And then I'm going to hold up a piece of paper, piece of parchment between my two fingers. And I'm going to be like, yeah, and I guess elves aren't very welcome here in this town. And I'm going to put it back into my satchel. And I'm going to be like, the faster we get out of this fucking place, the faster Simone is happier.
All right, so let's take that beaten
We'll need to
path.
resupply first, but yeah, I agree with Reed.
And Arthur's going to stand in and say, it seems like a prudent idea to resupply before we begin a week's journey there and back.
Yes. All right, fool. So I would like just to go in and refill my rations.
Yeah.
Because I believe I already have a sorcerer's pack.
Yeah, and you guys can just pay, market prices, whatever it says in the handbook for the stuff you guys are buying. Edgetown is a big enough place that is supplied well enough that, as far as stuff goes, it's not particularly hard to get to. I will remind those of you that lost stuff to the mysterious force that it is, that it's now yours again. And then also, I don't know if maybe it would be a good idea to send you guys just like a list of the shops that are here in case you want to look at anything. Does anybody want to look for anything specific that's not just like gear before you go?
Potions. Probably been potions for me.
Okay. And those are going to be at the apothecary that the weird old lady was at that you asked originally where to find Cade. Let me see here. That's, I think, the Blue Heron Herbery is the name of that place.
Blue Heron Herbery. Okay.
And there, I mean, like I said, Edgetown is well enough supplied that there are an array of potions on the walls here, and in order to get any of them, you're gonna have to basically like ask for them by name, like nothing's marked. It's just this like place that's full of all these potions, just wall to wall behind a counter with like this gnarled, crazy looking old lady just like kind of squinting and wincing at you until you tell her what you want, So if there's anything specific that you're looking for, I can tell you if she has it or not.
I'm gonna look at this lady like, hey, beautiful, got any health potions?
Oh, you know I do for a handsome man like you.
She turns around and she's like rustling through. You hear like bottles and things like clanking against each other as she's digging through. And she turns around with like a small wooden bucket that's just like full of the same kind of potion. And she just like rotates around. She's smacking her lips. They're all dry and cracked.
Oh.
eating a butterscotch candy at the same time.
A what? I don't hear very well these days.
My beautiful princess, do you have? Sorry, hold on. I should probably do this better character. Beautiful princess, do you have potion that heals you?
A whole bucket full. Well, how many would you like?
Gives you like a smile, and there's a lot of teeth missing. The ones that are there are like yellowed and brown, and there's like a couple that are obviously rotting away. Of the 7 that are in there, yeah.
I'm sorry. The voice was great, but I couldn't hear specifically what she had.
She asked you how many. She says, "Yeah, I have plenty. How many do you want?"
Well, what type of healing potion?
There are this bin has vials of varying sizes. So she's got like the first 3 tiers of health potion in here, and there's less.
Gotcha.
There's probably like 3 or 4 of the greater healing potions or whatever those are. And there's a dozen of the medium one, and then just like a ton of tiny bottles just around that.
Gotcha. Okay. Give me 2 that helps with deep cuts. Medium. That's what I'm trying to say.
Clink, 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 clink. Pulls out, gets it uncomfortably close, like that.
Aha!
And sets them down on the counter. I don't know how much it fucking costs. You can do the research on that. She charges you whatever they cost.
Oh Jesus, moderate. Okay, well I don't have enough for moderate. Can I have
So-
2? It's 300 according to this. For 1 moderate wounds.
What's a basic then?
$50 for the light
50.
wounds. Yeah. And I look down at my bag. It's like very light. It's like never mind. Can I just have the 2 for the paper cuts?
No, of course, dearie. No need to be embarrassed.
And puts the other vials back and sells you 2 of the lesser healing.
Okay, cool.
Looks over expectantly at the rest of the party. Simone, have you had enough time to look for?
Yeah, I don't have enough money for any of that, so I'm
Okay.
just gonna be like slowly walk out.
I'll step up.
Yes?
I'll take 2 of the lesser potions as well. And do I see anything behind her shop or anything just out of the ordinary? Anything that would catch somebody's eye?
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of like weird shit in here. This is an apothecary, so there's like, like the snakes that are hanging around, drying and shit. Like that's the tame thing in this room. Like there are like this place stinks. There's so much going on in here. It's like walking into a candle shop that was built on the dump. So it's just like got this like it's totally this crazy affront of smells. The air is thick from a cauldron that's bubbling in the corner. Like this, yeah, this is like a weird place. Everything catches your eye in here.
Okay. You said there were snakes?
Yeah.
Like cooked or?
They're in like various states. There's like skeletons up on the mantle, and then there are like full snakes with their heads chopped off, that are kind of like flayed open, with like their organs shown, and obviously some of the organs are missing. And then there's just like skins around.
Okay. I'm gonna point at the snake and say, "I'll trade you for the snake skeleton."
What have you got?
I'm gonna put a small bottle filled with a black goo on the table, and I'm gonna say, "This is from an infestation in the mines. This is a part of a slime that had killed numerous men, and it reproduces. So I think if I poured it out, you'd have a small slime yourself."
And she leans,
Really?
picks it up, looks at it, shakes it, rattles it back and forth. And it doesn't really, like, it's a slime, so the sludge just kind of, like, slumps to one side and back. It doesn't really rattle around in there. And she, like, uncorks it, like looks at it. Like, she just walks over, she gets like a stick, like a little like toothpick type thing, digs it, sticks it in there, pulls it out, looks at it, sniffs it.
Damn.
And takes the vial from you and goes over and carefully pulls the snake skeleton off the mantle and like lays it down on the counter in front of you.
Okay, I'll take that and 2 lesser healing potions. So
Cool.
2 lesser healing potions, and you have yourself a deal. The small potions.
Cool. She'll sell you those for market price. She reaches into the wooden bin that she's just like gotten off the shelf for Kythar a moment ago, sells you 2 of the smallest size potion out of it, and looks to the rest. Says,
Thank you very much, dearie.
and addresses the rest of the party.
I'm gonna refill my rations because that's all I got enough money for.
She doesn't sell rations, but you can buy them at the general store. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
Anything else specific anybody wants to try to equip themselves with or look for, or anyone they want to talk to, or anything that needs doing before they get underway?
I think I'm ready.
As a heads up, I'm going to be taking
Yeah.
off at 10.
Okay. Then we will do our best to.
Somebody can play me and just use me as the healer if they want.
Yeah, that's more than likely what'll happen.
Hey, monkey, stop climbing.
Yeah. So like I said, I think I'm ready to go.
I don't know how much money Stover has, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to assume that he stopped into predictable projectiles on his way out of town while you guys were resupplying, and give him the opportunity to shop whenever he does come back, and we'll just say that happened in this time period right now. And then same for Chris. If there's anything he wants specifically, he can shop whenever he pops in. No big deal. So
Cool.
So great. So I mean, you guys got a super early start. So it's still like 9 o'clock in the morning. Like the shops just opened. It only took you guys an hour or 2 to pick up some basic supplies. Have a quick interaction with the strange twisted lady at the Blue Heron, and as you guys make your way through the courtyard, some of you may glance at the unassuming shop front that that is Cade's. That's just dark and quiet, like it always is. And you see, his rune and his bell carved into the side of the wall. And you guys, have now resupplied, purchased everything that you are going to want to purchase. The sun is nowhere near midday. What are you guys doing?
I know that Kay told us that it's going to be 2 weeks' time before we can talk to him again, I believe. And it's been like 3 days or something.
Thought it was 8 days.
Oh, it was 8 days? I thought it was 2 weeks.
And you guys are on your 4th day at Edgetown.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit around and have a bunch of orcs siege the city and then us slowly die.
I agree.
I don't owe anything to this city. Let's go.
Yeah. We're not, it's like chosen protectors, right?
Every city we have stayed at so far has gotten destroyed, so I think we should move on before that happens.
It's a good point. Out of sight, out of mind, right, fool?
Right.
I am gonna buy, like, as we're leaving, I am gonna, like Joe, I'm gonna buy a bunch of rations, probably like 5 gold worth of ration.
Cool. Then for your whatever they call it, they're like silver. So for probably less than 5 or 10 gold, you buy as many as 2 weeks, whatever you want.
So much dried meat.
Dried meat and nuts. There's some dried fruit in there. There's like this world's equivalent of lamnis bread. There's all kinds of stuff in there, man. Support
Cool.
city.
And then, okay, so Do you think we should stay off of the road just in case we run into some orc scouts so we know what we're up against, or?
Yeah, fool. We should be as subtle as possible, and then I'm gonna eye over at Kythar.
All right, I'm out of here.
All right.
See
See you later.
Later.
All right, man. Tell Somerset happy birthday.
All right.
Alrighty.
So everybody.
All right, bye.
Bye.
And then I'm gonna eye over at Kythar. We have to be as subtle as possible, fool.
I got you.
And then I said, and I'm gonna look over at Monzo and be like, "You said you could lead us, right?
I can be out in front, yeah.
So let's go, fool."
Just so fast.
Oh my God.
We'll never lose you.
Lead the way, Mr. Monzo.
And so, to clarify, you guys are traveling roughly the route that Sigbert was told for the first half of this, and following the maps that you got from the Estebar estate to walk like parallel to the road but not on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Okay, Monzo, you're going out ahead. What are you looking for specifically? Are you trying to guide the party through the terrain? Are you trying to look for threats? What's your goal?
Yeah, so I mean, you can. So I'm envisioning, this is a mostly clear road. It's not like mountains on either side or trees, thick trees within 5 feet of the road. I'm envisioning, a pretty flat area with a road. So we would be 40 feet off of the road, traveling, going a little slower, but traveling to our destination. And I'm mostly just listening because I know there's, I'm just listening, looking. I know there's orcs and they're not necessarily quiet. So I figure if we run into a bunch of orcs and the flying things that Reed told us about, I would see them hopefully before they saw us, and then I could run back and warn the party.
Okay, sounds great.
So he's going to be out in front of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's my follow-up question: is how far in front of the party would you like to travel?
Probably just out of sight, like
100 yards.
100 yards maybe.
Okay, sounds great. It is, basically terrain-wise, what you guys have to expect is it's going to be forest for the first 2 days, and then that's going to break, and there's going to be like kind of a hilly, rocky terrain for a few days, and it's just going to kind of get continuously more mountainous as you make your way to the pass, which is probably, I don't know, it's probably like 4 or 5 days out, depending on how fast you guys are traveling. So if you're traveling off the road for the first couple of days, the trees are relatively dense, and this is gonna, it'll slow you down some, basically,
Yep.
to walk off the road.
And I'm okay with that. I mean,
Yeah, I just want to make sure that's
I'd
clear
rather be more
before you
careful.
guys
Yeah.
settle in to this.
yes.
Cool, solid. So then I need Monzo to roll me a perception check, because he's like looking for things. He's like looking for danger while he's out and about. He's scouting essentially. I want to know, of the party, which one of you guys are, picking the route through the trees here. A good roll can speed you back up. Whose survival check am I relying
Sigbert
on?
is.
Sigbert is, huh? I don't know if I have Sigbert's character sheet. I might.
If not, then I choose Professor Struve.
I was about to say, I should have Struva's.
Not Struve's, it's Arthur. Damn it. And he is a 5. I know for sure his survival's a... Oh my god.
Wow. Wow.
Nat 1,
Wow.
baby.
Well,
Wow.
crit fails are only for combat, so what's your final?
Things are looking up. If that's 11.
Yeah, man. That's what you're fucking. That's why you put skills into stuff, so that your minimum roll is whatever the fuck your skill is plus 1. I do have Chris's. His survival skill is 8, so I'm gonna roll for him.
Oh, cool. Yes.
I'm going to roll for him here. His final is 16. So between the two of your rolls here, with your 11, Aaron, Monzo is, traveling between 100 and 200 feet in front of the party. And, he is a nimble and dexterous man. He's a monk. His move speed is ridiculous. And so with relative ease, he can, really put some distance between him and his party. And if he's not careful, he'd, end up too far away from them. But, Monzo's on it. And you are looking around, and there are signs of that this road is relatively well traveled, as you're glancing over to it, making your way through here, and there's nobody on the road, but it's obvious that that, like I said, that there was recently some traffic coming through here, but you don't see any obvious threats, don't hear anything that sounds like a fucking dragon. Just some pleasant sounds of the forest as you guys make your way away from town, and away from the coast. And it's things look pretty clear. Sigbert's
Nice.
roll is solid enough that you guys, don't get. It's kind of hard to get turned around when you're only traveling 50 feet off the road, but you guys don't get slowed down at all by the fact that you're traveling through these trees. You're making your way through about as fast as you would be able to on foot on the road anyway. So you guys are good there.
Nice.
And as you guys are traveling through here, you get towards the end of your first day, and Monzo does spot the tiniest remains of a campfire. It almost looks like somebody had a leave no trace mentality. It wouldn't be obvious that somebody camped here if you hadn't literally stepped on a small pile of ashes and gotten them all over your boot, and then kind of looked around at that spot and realized that probably one or two individuals camped here fairly recently. Last few days.
Okay, I'll stay put. Is this still the first day?
This is the first day, yeah.
And it's what time would it be?
At this point, you guys have been traveling for the better part of the day, so this is after your lunch break, but before dinner, before the end of your day. So 4, 5.
Okay, I'll stay put and wait to regroup with everybody at this campsite.
Okay, sounds good. And then just for fun, because I like making you guys talk to each other when you're traveling, what conversation is the group having as they approach Monzo? What are you guys talking about? You've had all day traveling together. Might be a little grouchy. I don't know.
Yeah, I probably would be arguing with Professor or Arthur.
Okay.
And I'd be like, "Hey, fool, they're just like orcs. Why are you guys so scared of them?" And just going back and forth with him because I know he was in the army.
Yeah.
So, and he fought orcs, from my understanding.
Yeah, and he says, "It's not that I'm afraid of them. It's how brutal they are, and I'm grateful that I was in the artillery, and I wouldn't want to be up close with one, and this is kind of the other side that he's giving you. What are the rest of you guys talking about?"
So Tyler and Soda.
Tyler, Kythar.
You're putting me on the spot. I don't know. I can't.
I'm sorry. I'm asking you to participate in character with the other characters. I'm very sorry for having that.
I'm not that creative, David. Okay.
It's a conversation. You make conversation in your day-to-day life all the time. What does the test want to talk about?
I try not to think critically about anything. I just say the first thing that comes to my mouth. I don't filter anything at all.
So then, what would you be saying?
Now he's in character.
Yeah.
I don't know why they call them magic missiles. They don't seem very missile-like to me. There you go. That's the best I got.
All right, I like it.
Just talk about magic missile the whole time.
I can't wait. You just hear Kaitar in the back, of the group. It's like him keep on mumbling to himself. Can't wait to kill me a fucking orc. Can't wait to kill me a fucking. Just
This
constantly.
conversation.
He's just talking to himself.
Cool. So sounds great. So you catch a lot of these snippets of conversation here. Monzo, a test talking about magic missile. Simone and Arthur going back and forth about how bad orcs really are to fight. And then Kythar in the back just mumbling to himself about murdering orcs. How are you addressing the group? You guys see Monzo standing there waiting for you guys.
He's just standing there. That's it.
I don't know what's.
Yeah, I would be.
Standing there menacingly.
Yeah, he'd be standing there inquisitively, like just looking at the campsite.
I'm gonna put my thumb up to the sun and squint my eye and be like, "It's almost dinner time, fool. I'm surprised you're not making dinner for yourself."
I'm not gonna get the sarcasm. Yeah, I know. But come look at come look at this.
And I'll walk over and be like, "Well, fool, I just see some dirt here."
No, look close. I'm gonna get super low where the ashes are.
And as you do, you can tell that Monzo can't bend over anymore. There's enough belly there that he's now physically stopped from stooping.
This is
playing as ourselves.
You've described him as a sumo type individual, so
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna just kind of step back and be like, "Oh shit, I almost stepped on the crime scene." How many were there?
Who would be able to see our characters that would be best at this are gone? So, can I do a survival? I'll do a survival check to see if I would know how many people were here. Did they leave in a rush? What I can find out.
Sounds good. Use Chris's modifier of +8.
That's much better than my +3.
Yeah. As you and Sigbert debate this campsite together.
18. I'm sorry, you said +8? 23.
+8. Yeah, so you and Sigbert are able to determine, and I'm sorry, the original question was just how many?
Yeah, how many, was it recent, just like the surface level facts about the site that we could tell, if any?
There are two.
Still smoldering.
There are two obvious places where an individual could sleep and be covered. There isn't any debris or refuse around specifically, but as you guys are looking around, you can see that a couple of high branches in the trees surrounding this area have wear marks in them from having ropes repeatedly put in the same spot. So this is obviously a campsite that was not only used recently but is used often. You assume probably about two people. And the ash and the dirt are mixed together pretty well. You also stepped in it. Simone almost stepped in it. But, you and Sigbert kind of sorted out that, it hasn't been that windy the last couple of days. So this is probably 2-3 days ago.
Do I see any game trails? I know the road is out of sight. And up until then, I've just been going through, rocks and
Then you take
grass.
this.
Is there a hiking trail kind of thing?
Yeah, you take the survival roll and you start basically walking in a wide spiral around the spot, and you start looking for stuff, and you find. Monzo's survival's not great, but Sigbert's pointing out to Monzo where all these different paths where critters are walking through, and old abandoned dens and burrows, and evidence of wildlife around, and then is pointing through where Monzo doesn't really get it. He's walked on roads a lot of his life, but Sigbert's see how we can walk through here single file and we don't really have to step on anything. He's like I think that somebody comes through here and probably looks around. He's yeah, they probably set up a trap right there usually, and da 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 da. And there's you guys basically end up walking a horseshoe around the camp away from the roadside, um, and end up popping back at the camp. And Sigbert's like, yeah, I think this is like all part of the same thing.
Okay, I'm going to relay that to everybody. Camp looks like people use it pretty often. We could camp here for the night. It looks like there's one trail in, so we could take turns watching this trail as a focus point when we guard for the night.
I'm gonna kind of look forward in the general direction of where we're supposed to be going. I'm like, it's like 5 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Sun sets around 7.
Yeah, you guys got a couple hours daylight for sure.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna look forward. If you want me to do a perception check, I can, but I'm looking at kind of like the road ahead of us.
You don't need to, because you're looking at the road ahead of you and it looks clear. Like I said, if you look
Like
down,
no trees. That's
there's
what I'm
no
trying to get
there's
at.
no trees on the road, and there's no trees on within. It varies, 3 to
I
7.
meant the path that we're going on, not specifically the road.
I'm sorry,
I
the
guess.
path where you're going. Yeah,
Yeah.
there are trees. Yeah, there are trees, like pretty well. It's actually a particularly dense section of trees, which would you like realize as you're standing here that you actually can't really feel any wind. Like this is a pretty sheltered spot. But yeah, there's trees. It blocks visibility.
Gotcha. I'm gonna be like, we got like a few hours of sunlight. Let's try to get through these like fucking trees, right?
Sure, yeah.
I'd be down.
I'll go, assuming that works, I'll go off ahead again.
Cool. Sounds good. And
It's just like we found a spot where like people camp. That doesn't mean like it's fucking orcs, right?
I don't think so.
I'm looking at you, Mr. Survival, as I point at Sigbert.
Sigbert kind
Or,
of. Sigbert would definitely tell you that, he's like, there's a couple people that use it. I don't know. It's a pretty clean campsite. Orcs don't really have that reputation.
I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna shrug my shoulders back. Let's keep moving then. At least until dusk. Right?
Yeah, you can absolutely get a couple more hours of travel in for sure.
And
good.
I think that we're all in agreement.
Cool. Then, Monzo doesn't see or hear anything else that looks like enemies. You guys are able to find a spot that looks like a suitable campsite. Chris rolls a 21, so it's a pretty excellent campsite, big enough for all of you guys, accommodating. There's probably a high point in which you guys can sit on your watches, far enough off the road that you'd see a torch coming.
Okay.
Who's I guess it's going to be a little bit harder without a couple people. I guess we can just stick them on watch every night because they're not here.
Sure.
So we'll say we'll say that you guys have 2 shifts worth of watch that you need to cover because Sigbert and Arthur are going to go ahead and volunteer to take the first 2 watches every night, or the last 2, or whatever the fuck you guys want.
Last 2, I guess.
Right. So who's taking the first 2?
I'll take the first one.
Yeah, I'll take one.
Okay, then that's all you guys have to worry about because that's all you guys have to worry about. I need to find some dice.
Cool.
Okay, great.
I need to roll, right?
Well, unless anybody wants to, I mean, you guys are going to be traveling for multiple days, so I assume not. But if anybody has anything in particular, or a moment, or something they want to say to somebody, feel free to cut in at any time. But otherwise, yeah, we'll kind of move through the daily events here. So yeah, go ahead and roll your.
But I guess while everyone's kind of together, I'm gonna look at kind of like the group and just be like, "Hey, fools! Just like remember, like we're kind of charging into like, an ancient ruin. You read stories, you hear stories about adventurers doing this kind of things, and sometimes only one of them makes it out. So like, I just want to say like the time we've kind of all spent together is something I'll cherish, fools."
Because Kaithar has already helped set up camp, and so he's drinking, and he says, "Here, here, cheers!" And he raises his mug.
I'm gonna be like, yeah, since like my parents died and I'm used to traveling in a large group, so I'm just saying I feel like hella comfortable.
Really, really nice of you to say. And, ever since my grandpa he died, and yeah, I can really relate. Can relate to you on that.
Yeah, fool. So I'm just saying, like, I cherish this moment, and hopefully we all make it out alive. I'm not saying
Are
like
we
not
gonna die?
wishing live. Oh God,
Are we gonna die?
there's a chance we die at any point, right? The
I
risk
mean,
is
we've almost
higher.
died a couple of times, I guess. So,
That's true. But I'm just saying,
but why are you
up
being
at,
so sentimental right now? What do you know?
because fool, up to that point, I didn't really give a shit about you guys. Like, I was just kind
Wow.
of in it for the coin. But now I feel connected, right?
Would
And
you
so
would
that's
you
why I'm
call us
being
a
like all
team?
sentimental.
Yeah, we definitely went through shit.
I don't
Well,
know.
I
We get
would say,
attacked by dragons every day.
and I've cared about you guys for a very long time. So
Bluff check,
What are
please.
we up to? 3 days now?
That you guys have been traveling together? No, you guys have been traveling together at this point for.
It's been a while. It's been at least a month, I think.
Oh, congratulations! 2 weeks to the day.
Oh, never mind. 2 weeks then.
What is it, like 2 weeks then?
Yeah, fool. Before we were just like work colleagues. Now we're like a team.
Longest 2 weeks of my life.
Damn, fool. You know what? Why don't you get some rest? You're a little grumpy right now.
You're right. I might be getting a little hangry. I pull out a ration. Start eating it.
Nice, love it.
I know you're probably not used to like walking and shit, fool. Being like your, magical powers and shit.
Oh, we just like sit in the tower and eat food.
I like
and
the
read
commitment
books.
to role play.
So, what
Oh.
is a magic missile?
I mean, I've been trying to figure that out for years. It's like magic, but like moves really fast. So like it's a missile.
Doesn't
you
all
know?
magic like move really fast, fool?
No, definitely not. Some magic is slower. So magic doesn't even move at all. I've got this thing, this like cloud thing. It'll like totally mesmerize you, but it just sits there. Just kind of like sits there.
But when you cast
Doesn't
it,
move.
right, doesn't just happen?
There, yeah, it just doesn't
Yeah,
move.
so that's like pretty quick, right?
Well, I mean, sometimes it takes a little while to cast a spell. I can like summon monsters, like you summon your
I'm
your
gonna
will.
as I'm talking with him, I'm taking like a step closer to a task. And I'm like, yeah, fool, but that's
Why?
like summoning like a whole thing, right? If you're just like casting a cloud, it's like instant, right?
Well, I mean, the cloud that I know is instant. There might be other clouds that are not, is instant.
I'm gonna try to
There's a lot
go
of
and
magic out there.
like grab Ata's belly.
Do you?
It's like this.
Don't do that.
Is it squishy or is it like? Are you pretty thin?
Or do you
I'm
like
very
jump
thin.
out of the way?
Yeah.
He would probably try to jump out of the way.
Just for fun, roll me a reflex save.
Really?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
I'm doing it. Doesn't matter.
About to say it's
Just
your character PvP stuff. It's like it's always for flavor, and if the player themselves was like, no, I don't want that, then we're always.
But
that.
asking of me, who has literally no combat stats whatsoever. That's I have a +1, so that's that's 7.
7. On a 7, you definitely, your tummy definitely gets grazed despite jumping out of the way, and it's firm there, Simone.
I'm gonna be like,
Why are you touching me?
You need to get your steps in, fool. And I'm gonna walk away.
I look down and be like, what? Kind of questioning me, like, am I fat? I'm gonna look at Monzo. Look at myself.
whose chin is buried into his tits.
Just kind of like look back and forth.
Overhearing, I'm going to say, yeah, you really need to get that under control. It's no joke.
I'm gonna put down my rations and stop eating.
Oh.
You're gonna finish that?
Oh my god.
No. I'll hand them to Monzo.
Thanks, man.
It's all just a trick. Monzo just goes around fat shaming people so he can eat them.
Oh god. So then
I would have called him Fat Man, but that's not what a task would have been.
Right, Tyler would have called him.
Absolutely no way, Fat Man.
Okay.
My doctor says it's obese, so.
But a task wouldn't say that.
Right under morbidly. So then I'm gonna go like try to find a comfy spot where it's like a horseshoe, or I guess what kind of area are we in?
So I mean, camp? The first couple of days is going to be, quote unquote forest terrain. So probably the comfiest spot that you could hope to find would be an area where, like tree roots have kind of lifted the dirt around, where you could kind of like put your pack in there and like have it as a little.
Could I try to climb a tree to find like a comfy branch to sit on?
Yeah, I'll have you roll an acrobatics check to see if you like fall out in the night at some point. But
I was gonna tie a rope to myself and tie it to the tree.
Then yeah, that's fair game.
Yeah,
that's fair game.
Okay, all right. Do I need a roll still?
Yeah, I'm gonna see if you get jerked awake. Okay. But yeah, and then you also have your.
Oh, I'm on watch.
Yeah, well, this will be for after your watch. I mean, you're gonna have to sleep eventually. All right.
Yeah. That's a 10.
It's a 10. Great. When we get there, I will let you know. 10 Acro Simone. Do you guys have anything else for each other around the campfire? I loved the roleplay. Thank you. That's exactly what I was looking for. I appreciate you guys humoring me there.
Full tummy.
Going to bed on a full tummy. That sounds like Monzo.
You're gonna hear from up in the tree. I'm like, you putos are stupid. You're sleeping on the ground, fool.
Ground good for back. And Kaithar eats a ration and sorry, that's my nephew. Eats a ration and finds a comfy spot in the dirt and starts to go to bed.
Love it.
I'm like, look what happens when you drink too much. You pass out pretty early. And then I'm gonna get comfy, and I'm going to be examining my ring, I guess.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I mean, you know what that is already, but you can still look at it for fun.
Yes.
So go ahead and roll me your watch, and
just perception.
Yeah, perception check for your watch.
Okay, that's a 16.
It's gonna be the very beginning of the night. So on a 16, you.
Did we start a fire, by the way?
I don't know. Did you guys start a fire?
I think we could start a fire. Yeah.
All right. So I'm Professor Arthur took care of that. I know that for sure.
As you're out there, you can smell like a storm brewing, like it's like somewhere far off, and out of the corner of your eye, there's like a crack of lightning, like way off in the distance, like miles off in the distance.
Okay.
But
the way weather works.
Right, but that's the most eventful thing of your watch, and then you go climb into your branch, and you make your way through the night, sleeping sound and peacefully. on your rope.
Nice.
You're gonna wake up at the full length of your rope. You just like slowly rolled away from it, and like when you wake up, you're gonna be just like completely at the rope's gonna be like completely taut, basically.
That sounds like me in real life.
But that's great. So Monzo's our other watch tonight.
Yes.
Yes.
I would say.
Roll it, bud. Perception.
Not a problem.
Gonna be a lot of those. You guys are gonna be doing a lot of looking and listening.
Oh my God!
What are the chances?
How is that?
Wow.
What are the
How
chances?
is that possible?
We now know that Aaron's minimum perception is 11. It's literally what happened on the last perception check.
Jesus Christ!
Oh my goodness!
I'm surprised. You're surprised I rolled a 1.
I'm surprised that's 2 1s in a row. I think that's like statistically that's like pretty crazy. I think if you roll another one, I think you break physics.
So an 11.
Monzo doesn't see or hear anything in particular, but that's in part because when he wakes up, the like small of his back is like super itchy, and he like realizes that he's been like laying on this plant that's like up against the small of his back, and his shirt's kind of riding up a little bit, and he's got like he like kind of turns around and he pulls out his mirror and looks, and he's got like hives, he's got like a rash, it's like super itchy. So he basically spends his watch like sitting there like scratching at himself, just kind of looking and listening, doesn't really hear anything, doesn't really see anything. And it takes him another hour after his watch for like the itching to die down, and for him to fall back asleep. But otherwise, you know, no eventful moments for your watch here. Which brings you guys to your second traveling day. You know, you guys wake up. I'm assuming you do breakfast. You're all up together. You know, the other guys make their way through their watches, and you guys are ready to, you know, go for another day.
I'm gonna look at Monzo. I'm like, well, aren't you supposed to be like in front of us, fool?
They're gonna wake up at, you know, I'm making breakfast, and in between, you know, the flipping of my rations on the over the fire, I'm gonna be like up against a tree like a bear, you know. And maybe you should send Will up with me. We're both pretty quick, and I got cataracts in my eyes. I can't see very well sometimes. Nearsighted.
Okay, so it's definitely within a mile, right? I think I'm fine.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Mile is like 1,000 something feet.
Yeah. Okay.
We're like 50 to 80 feet above in front.
Okay. I then start summoning Will.
Right.
You know, ripping the fabric of reality happens, where then Will walks out. Wow. And then I tell him, like, hey, fool, you're gonna go with this puto. And he just kind of does that cat stretch, you know, where he like puts his paws all the way out, and then you know, his butt's all the way up in the air, and then he does a little shake, and he goes, "Let's go."
Cool.
Go
for it. I'm sorry, Monzo.
Oh, yeah. We'll head out in front again.
Cool. Go ahead and have both you guys roll me a perception. Simone can roll for Will, and then Monzo can roll.
I will.
And then I have a question for Will.
Okay. You said it's my perception?
Yeah. Okay. Well, Will's perception, but yeah.
Will's perception. Hey, Aaron, nice. No. 9.
28.
28. Excellent. You had a question for Will?
Yeah. I'm gonna say. So how did you meet Simone there? You guys have just always been friends? You guys grew up together? Was he your pet?
He kind of looks. He goes, well, when Simone was just a little boy, you know, he was with his parents, and you know, his parents, you know, didn't really watch him a lot, and you know, he stumbled into this temple, and you know, he kind of activated me through my temple. So I've just kind of binded to his soul because it's either stay in the temple or I get to walk around with this little, he calls himself a puto, but you can get used to that pretty quickly. And we've had some pretty good adventures so far.
So yeah, last night over the finer, I kind of bounded to his soul as well. Ended up, he's a really nice guy, so you got a good one.
He's oh, who do we lose? Oh, there we go.
It restarted.
That's fine. He's gonna be like, yeah, he seems pretty nice, only with certain people though. Everybody else, he seems to start off with calling him a puto, and I'm still trying to understand what that means, but it seems like it's a good thing and a bad thing, so it just depends on how he uses it.
Well, if you figure it out, let me know.
I fucking love it. Thank you very much. On a roll of 28, Monzo is making his way through, and he, travels for a little while, and the first thing that he notices, since the campsite, he starts looking around. He's not just trying to pick a path through here and keep his ears and eyes open for the obvious signs. He's also looking for, other, like somebody else is back here. There's something else going on. And he does find that, basically there's like a trail which shoots off the main road, that's like wide enough for a horse. It's still super narrow through the forest, but it's obvious that this is like a crossroads of some sort. You're going to be like crossing this horse trail as you guys are picking your way through the trail. So this is your first thing you see.
And we both see that, correct? Or
Monzo and Will, yeah. Monzo and Will.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put it out and I'll say, do you think we should wait for everybody?
We'll probably be like, let's go see if we can find something on the trail. Maybe we can see like if there was like some orcs or something that we're walking through here.
Can you like tell Simone that so he doesn't get to this trail, and is he going to be worried?
Oh no, he sees. He's been watching.
You guys can like see through the same eyes?
Yeah, see, it's like a part of the soul bonding thing. You can like see through my eyes. I can't really see through his, but it's fine.
Doesn't seem very fair, but yeah, come
on. Simone says, "Don't try to drive a wedge between us." And then Will's gonna walk up to the crossroads and he's gonna do a survival check to see if there's any like humanoid like feet. I guess you wouldn't really be able to tell if it's the difference between orcs. I'm assuming.
Go ahead and roll me a survival check.
Okay. Heyo, a natural 20.
Dirty 20 means that he looks and basically he doesn't see any humanoid footprints at all. All he sees are two distinct horse tracks, where
Okay.
probably a little older than the campsite was. These tracks are probably 5 days old. 4 or 5 days old. Because they're there. Horses are heavy creatures, but there's a lot of the dust has blown over it. A lot of the ground is like resettled, but they're still there.
Will's gonna be like, I don't see any orcs on here. I only see horse trails.
Do orcs ride horses, or?
That's a very good question. The Lord, what's his name? The cutie, Lord Estebar did say that he did send some, scouting parties.
Well, yeah, we should check it out. Does it go further? Can you see?
I'm gonna look down the horse trail and do. You want me to do a perception?
I No, I'm just going to ask you how long, because it curves, it bends here and it bends there, and you can't keep like a visual on it for any longer than, a couple hundred feet before it disappears behind, the next bend. So my question is more like, how long are you willing to travel this to keep looking down it? Like, how far down are you going to walk it to
I
check
was
it
just
out?
gonna peer from where we're at right now.
A couple hundred feet.
Yeah, and it's just a dirt road or a dirt path essentially.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even really call it an official path. It's just, things are dense enough here, underfoot anyway. Like trees aren't like growing next to each other, but there's enough like underbrush and shit that it's obvious when something has been, coming through regularly and it's not growing in like a strip.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, is this where you guys said this is the path? Is this that same path to fuck, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's the city. What's the city's name again?
Isulde, and no,
It's Sealed.
the main road. You guys are still heading due south, but this cuts parallel. This is an east-west trail.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna be like, let's just keep going south to the ruins, right?
Okay.
Great. On your roll of 28, you continue traveling. You rejoin your group on lunch. You guys touch base about whatever it is you want to touch base about, and then as Monzo and Will continue to travel down this road on a 28. Oh, excuse me. You guys are going to. Well, no, because Will rolled like a 9 or something.
Yeah.
Monzo hears it because it's not a visual thing; it's a hears it. But Monzo stops Will and hears. It's just like, how when like the TV's on too loud in the next room, you can't make out the words, but it's just kind of a murmur. It's like the absolute quietest version of that, but it's definitely distinctly not like nature sounds. Like there is a low murmur ahead somewhere. It's hard to tell. Sound bounces off these trees. 300 feet, 500 feet, a quarter mile, half a mile, like up there somewhere, there's something making noise.
And it's like talking though.
Yeah, and
right?
Only Monzo's roll was high enough to hear this. I know it's kind of counterintuitive because Will's a cat, but I'm assuming that Monzo will stop Will and let him.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my hands out. I heard something. Do you hear
that? It's now that he pointed it out. Can I hear it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. And he goes. Will just goes. Ooh. Will's gonna tell Simone to that they're gonna what's going on and that
right.
we're gonna go scout ahead.
Right.
And he's gonna tell Simone to tell them to sit tight.
Okay, so you're stopping the party.
I'm stopping the party. Okay. Yes. Right. And then I'm gonna look at Monzo and be like, let's go try to find these. We can find them before they find us. That's like a huge advantage, right?
I'll roll into stealth.
Great. Is Will going to do the same?
Yes, and Will specifically is going to try to look for cover to roll into stealth.
Actually, before that, I'm going to look at Kythar and...
They're not with us. Remember, they're like 50 feet behind.
Well, I heard 100 to 200 feet behind.
Or 100 to 200 feet behind, sorry. But Will, because you can communicate with Simone, let them, you can tell Will something.
Yeah, exactly.
Will, can you tell them that I'm not very sneaky? I can do it. But I'm a little bit. I'm a bigger guy. I have big bones. Maybe Kythar or or Mr. Magic Missile can. Or maybe they're sneakier. I don't know. You want to ask them?
Will's just kind of like, you're gonna see his eyes go blue for a second, right? And then I guess do back at the party.
Yep.
Simone's gonna go to look at the rest of the party and be like, ah, shit. Monzo doesn't want to go because he thinks like, he's so fat he's gonna like break a tree or something, and caused all this ruckus. And that's looking at Atesk and I guess the rest of the party. I'm gonna be like, is there anybody else that's like, quiet as a mouse hole?
Sigbert's gonna pipe up and say, "I do know my way around a forest."
He's like, then Simone's gonna be like, well then, you should probably go catch up with him.
Great. Cool.
Do you have his
I have
thing?
I have his stuff.
Cool.
Here. So Sigbert jogs ahead. I'm assuming you guys wait for him. So he leaves your party, joins Will and Monzo. Is Monzo staying with the party then?
Is
I'll
Monzo gonna
just
go
park
back
it there
to the
on
party?
that. I think we were near that horse trail, right? Have we left the horse trail?
Yeah, we went
you
past
guys
that.
you guys left the horse trail a couple hours ago.
Okay, got it. I'll just park it where I am.
Okay, great. So Sigbert passes you, and you can, and he's like stepping as lightly as he can, as he makes his way past you, and he's not stepping super lightly.
Will's gonna be like, I thought you were like the quiet one.
I mean, I know my way around a forest, and usually I can make my way through it quieter than this. I don't. And he's gonna like take a deep breath, and he's gonna like, shake his head and start like stepping through again. He's a little quieter. But I rolled him into stealth, so he's
Okay. Will just gets kind of like give out a sigh, and then he's going to continue on.
What was Will's?
Oh, yep, good point. Sorry.
I'd say before you go talking crap about him not being.
Oh, 8. That's right.
Yeah.
That's what happened. That's the gods.
Yeah, he's
wait, no,
definitely.
is that a 7? Oh, that's a 7. 14.
Oh,
Sorry, I
there
thought
you
it was
go.
a 1.
There you go.
14.
Yeah, you guys are making your way through about as quiet as one another. Your Will's definitely a little quieter though. So you guys kind of skirt your way up and skirt your way through, and as you guys are kind of poking your way up, you guys get within. The murmuring grows louder, and it's obvious that it's a conversation between two individuals. You're probably 300 feet away from your party at this point, or away from Monzo rather, who's however far away from the party.
Okay.
And you're able to make out that there's a conversation happening between two voices. But then Sigbert, steps on a twig and it snaps, and the conversation stops.
Ah, shit. Up to that point, was there anything of the conversation that we heard?
I can't keep Monzo's perception. Roll me another perception check. I'll roll one for Sigbert.
Okay. Damn, Aaron, the hell have you done to me? 11.
11, you say?
I don't see any ones, Anthony.
His is.
I'm used to 15, 16, 17s. Look what you've done to me.
His is actually lower than that. So on an 11, you are able to, make out that the conversations are like not heated. It's not an argument. They're not at like yelling volume. They're just kind of at talking volume. And if they were a little quieter, you guys wouldn't have been able to hear them at all from the distance they were at. But you see a wineskin I'm sorry, you guys, you wouldn't see anything. But you hear in the tenor of the voice that it's got the same kind of pitch in it that Kythar's does when he starts drinking. But you're not able to identify any of the specific words.
Gotcha.
Especially because it stopped abruptly pretty quickly as soon as And Sigbert like knows that he stepped on it, and he's just kind of like frozen in place, and he's just like looking over at Will, like not moving.
Is there any cover around us?
Yeah, I mean this is a forest. There's shit tons of cover, especially because you have like a general direction of like the thing that you heard is in front of you. So all you have to do is put like a large tree or a shrub or something between you and in front of you, and yeah, within 100 feet of you, there's take your pick. Large rocks.
Will's gonna kind of like
shrubs.
pull. Yeah, Will's gonna like pull Sigbert with him, and like put him into cover as quickly as possible.
Okay. Sounds good. And you guys do make a little noise as you kind of both flop into this space. Sigbert, caught a little bit unawares by the suddenness. He's looking at Will, but just like the snatching, and you guys kind of like fall into a pile, like between the roots of a tree and a large rock, and you're just kind of like sitting there, like shallowly breathing, and you can hear like the obvious sounds of two individuals dismounting.
Oh, okay.
Because you guys are, fairly close.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you hear kind of the same sounds that Sigbert just made: an errant snap of a twig, a crunch of a leaf, growing a little bit closer to you guys.
Okay.
And if you guys are going to stay huddled up in this spot,
yes,
then these guys are kind of coming in a little bit off at an angle. But before too long, there are two cloaked figures that make their way into your line of view. But you guys are pressed back up against this, this tree and this rock. And at this point, if they decided to turn around and walk back the other direction, they would see you. They just happen to have their backs to you, and they're creeping forward. But because they have their hoods up, and you guys are catching kind of a profile, you can't catch anything about them other than the fact that they're making their way through, swords drawn, one sword drawn, one bow knocked, and they're now creeping towards Monzo.
Gotcha. Hold on.
And I wouldn't know any of that.
No, not yet.
Okay. So with so since he has the Will has the ability where I can share spells with him.
Right. That target him as a target, right?
No, it was to be the target of you.
Well,
I can
okay,
as long as
yeah. Got you. Yeah.
I can then count that as my
count
a
Will
spell
as
on
you.
my
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
I am going to cast. Simone, I guess, is going to target himself, which targets Will.
Right.
And he is going to cast invisibility.
Ooh, I like it. And Will disappears.
And that will be, for 5 minutes.
Great. Everybody back next to Simone, like, sees him flick into his blue-eyed stance, come out of his blue-eyed stance immediately, cast a spell, flash blue eyes again, and then, like, center back on the rest of the group. Do you guys want to ask anything?
What happened?
There you go.
Be like, Sigbert, being the stealthful creature that he is, fool, stepped on some, as soon as they were getting close to, like, the voices they heard, stepped on a twig, and now those these cloaked figures are, like, walking past them as they're hiding behind, like, this tree. So I had to give them a little bit of a helping hand.
So we should just stand here then?
Nah, fool, that's actually what I was going to tell you. Can you go get Monzo and tell him?
Okay. I head off towards Monzo.
Okay. Back to Will and Sigbert. Sigbert would have seen Will, just disappear. Is Will going to...
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are within earshot. It would have to be in a especially quiet whisper to not alert them. Is he going to say anything?
Will would not say anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sigbert's not either, and now that Will's gone from his perspective, you see him just reach very slowly over to his sword. Other hand on it, uses
And then he sneezes?
Uses his thumb. No, that would be terrible. Uses his thumb to carefully. That was just your DM. Carefully, separate the blade from the hilt, like that first little bit, and then he starts like super slowly sliding it out. What's Will doing?
Will is like slowly, stealthily trying to get in front of the cloaked figures.
Okay. And what was Will's stealth roll?
He had a 14.
And then something crazy like plus 20 for having for being invisible. So if that brings you above 30, then I think that you are outside of these guys' perception ranges anyway. So that happens. Will's able to creep in front of these guys. He's got to pick up the pace a little bit, but he's a quadruped. He can move. He's like got that feline body, able to slink and he's able to split the distance basically. So you guys were 300 feet in front of Monzo at about the 150-foot mark. Will has come back around and placed himself between Monzo and the two figures, which now that he's in front of them and looking at them, can see these are two hooded human figures. One of them significantly old, the swordsman significantly older than the bowman, and they both are creeping their way through. But what Will is able to, what really stands out for Will, is the small logo of Lord Estebar on their cloaks.
Okay. At that point, I think can. From my understanding, Lord Estebar gave us a scroll, I think? Or was that the dwarf?
The dwarf gave you the scroll showing job well done, which you gave to Lord Estebar as proof that you did your job.
But he never gave us anything for the quest.
No, I mean, you guys got to look at the library. He told you to go check in with Ginny, but no, it was very much like, hey, go talk with my foreman, go clear out her fucking mind, come back to me.
Will is going to pick up a rock and try to throw it in the direction that's like north of Monzo to get them not to keep going straight to him, but to like veer off the path. Like, go like, 45 degrees or completely make a right turn. The idea behind that is that if they make a right, that they're not seeing Sigbert and they're moving away from Monzo.
I see what you're saying. So from their perspective, a right would put them crossing the road, and a left would put them along where the horse trail went. Which direction would you have thrown it?
It would be towards the road.
Okay. And yeah, I mean, that's all easily enough done. There's no rolls required for any of that. And it makes a distinct sound, which does definitely draw these guys' attention. And they, look at each other, and you see the archer point to the young man and point back up the road towards the sound that they heard. And then he himself continues in the direction that he had been going. So you got one of them to turn basically, and the other one is still heading slowly towards you.
Okay. Is the other one like moving quickly that way, or are they like?
No, they're both still creeping. They're both still slowly moving, as quietly as possible.
Gotcha. All right. I feel like I'm taking up a lot.
I mean, at this point, you're literally between them and the rest of the party. So I think right now it's super appropriate.
Okay. All right.
I mean, Simone told Attest to go get Monzo, so maybe we pause here for a second. Attest, you arrive at Monzo. You have no idea any of this is going on. You've just been told by Simone that
Actually, can I um can I stop when I see Monzo and cast message
Yeah.
at
Oh yeah.
Monzo?
Fuck yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I would like to
gonna
do.
start hearing voices.
And I'll Tusk would say, hey Monzo, it's Tusk. I'm sending you a message. There's some guys that are trying to sneak up on you right now. So just don't do anything crazy. They might try and kill you. But we're
Oh
gonna
yeah, Tusk, how are you?
do well. I'm over. I'm a bit a ways away right now.
Oh, well, I can hear you.
Yeah, it's message. It's I can communicate.
Monzo, are you responding out loud or in your head?
In my head.
Just wanted to clarify. Continue.
Yeah, this is all hopefully happening in just a moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said there's people sneaking up on me?
Yeah. Simone sent me over here to come get you and warn you.
Oh my! Should I just stand here or should I hide?
I wouldn't really get that far. I don't know. I think you should probably calmly walk back this way.
Calmly.
I'm gonna stealth when I hear there's people after me.
Okay, go ahead. Let me know what your roll is.
Hey, more than a 1. 13.
Can't be ruining your average.
20,
You gotta roll at least
22.
a couple ones. That's a great roll. So you make your way silently back towards the Tusk, and the two of you make your way back towards the rest of the group. And now that you are all standing together, minus Sigbert and Will.
So they're officially. So Simone sees Monzo
Yes,
back of the group.
They're back.
Okay. And be like, took you long enough, fool? Hey, so like, Sigbert in his infinite stealth skills stepped on like a twig, right? And Will grabbed him and hid behind a tree, and they like walked in front of him, fool. So like, they were heading right towards you. So I had Will like throw a rock, to get them off course, and like one of the putas walked away that way. So
They should we like kill them? Are these the orcs we've been looking after, or who are they?
nah, fool. Will says he saw the symbol of Lord Estebar.
That's the guy we're working for, right?
Yeah.
That's right, fool. That's why I just diverted them so like we can try to talk to him and shit. The problem is that Sigbert is sitting up behind a tree with his sword drawn. Probably not a good look.
Yeah, we should probably approach them as a group. I think that's a little more intimidating.
It's
just one of us. And if anything happens, we got the group waiting we got Sigbert hiding behind a tree with his fucking sword.
Well, I have Will kind of stalking one of the guys, so if you want me to confront him with Will, I can. He is kind of like invisible though.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I want to walk up. I want to start walking, but I want to walk with everybody, and then I'm going to cast. Before I go, I guess I'm going to cast Mage Armor on myself, right? Because it lasts
Great choice. Great choice.
It doesn't like show actively that I'm like have Mage Armor on.
If you want it to, but if you don't want it to,
I don't want it to be like super obvious that I've got Mage Armor on.
Yeah,
you're supposed to be like extra shimmery, I think.
Yeah, anybody who knows detect magic or who's familiar with Mage Armor specifically will still be able to tell what it is. But you got a chance.
But it is like a shiny thing though that's around me. Like it's got like a shimmer, like you'll see like a thing, right?
Yeah, it's in. Oh, never mind. Invisible, but tangible force field.
Oh,
so we'll be able to feel it.
Invisible, then it's invisible.
Yeah.
Then it's invisible.
Yeah.
All right.
Then I'm gonna cast Mage Armor, and I'm gonna say, "Let's go."
Sick.
And start walking.
Hey, should we have who's gonna talk for us? I know Kythar's always is just a great. He may be the great person to talk for us, I think.
Don't think good idea.
Why do you say that?
Have you looked at me?
So maybe Atesk can go
Yeah.
talk to them for us.
I'm known for my linguistic skills.
My biggest fear with ATES talking for us is if things go awry. I mean,
He's gonna get popped in the head so quick.
not super sturdy. No,
Hey, I have mage armor on. I'll be fine.
He stood up as much as a chance as that plant you laid on.
I'm gonna flip my cloak over to the fancy cloak just to make sure it's flipped to the fancy cloak.
Yeah. You have a fancy cloak? I'm gonna be like, oh shit, where'd that come from?
It's my reversible cloak. And I like flip it back the other side, and it's like ratty and shit, and then I flip it back over the fancy side.
So you have like
I keep going forward.
Cloak?
Yeah, it's like a poor rich cloak.
Basically, yeah.
Let's go. We're wasting valuable time here.
Okay, so he's gonna continue on. I'm just gonna assess Will. We'll just kind of stay in the middle to make sure that they don't turn around to confront Sigbert, who's just kind of standing there. I'm assuming.
Yeah, Sigbert really hasn't moved. Keep in mind, this is all just like a few moments, not actually that much time is passing here. And so, as these two figures begin to creep like closer to Will, or one figure, I guess, begins to creep closer to Will because the other one has been distracted. He, kind of, I'm assuming, like you're talking about, is stalking him, prowling near him.
Yes. And using his cat-like, ability to kind of track his prey, I guess.
And then was the rest of the group like moving this way?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was my intention, at least.
Sounds great. So he stops pretty much immediately as soon as the group starts moving because Monzo's the only person who rolled into stealth, and the rest of the group hears like a bird sound, and Will can see that this old man is like making the bird sound, and he's like turned his head, cocked his head towards where the young man disappeared, as he lets out these three sharp chirps, and then after he can hear the footsteps growing louder, he actually starts like backing up slowly away from the sound of the group approaching.
Hold on here.
Want to talk about me?
Sorry.
I think Will, as he starts to see him walk away, Will would. It looks like talking does not break invisibility, but taking an action does.
Okay.
But I want to know what you're
in this
ruling on that.
In this instance, I think it's fair to stick with as written. Doesn't break to
okay.
talk. But you will be a voice emanating from a specific spot in space.
Yes. Yes. Right. Yes. Will is gonna be like, "It's okay, sweetie. We're friends."
Turns and lets loose the arrow that he had knocked, and I forget the way invisibility works with this, but I'm just going to DM this and say that it sails.
I think it has like a blur effect. So you have to roll a 20%, or the dice.
Yeah.
Just to see if you even have a chance. Then you roll AC. I think.
Or it's the other way around. You roll to see if you hit, and even if you hit, you have to roll 20% because you still might miss because of the invisibility or some shit. But it's okay. In this instance, I'm just going to DM it and say that this arrow sails like within, it literally grazes one of Will's whiskers. Like that.
Oh, wow, okay.
That fucking close. And it, embeds itself in the tree behind it. It's a distinct sound, the twang of a bowstring releasing and the thunk of an arrow, landing in a tree is a sound that everybody, Sigbert included, the other young man can probably hear this. This is like a specifically loud sound, and the man turns, fires, and you said, I'm sorry, everything's okay, sweetie, or something like that?
No, I said, it's okay, sweetie. We're friends. We're just coming to talk. We are, something like that.
And who are you? Where are you? And you guys and the rest of the party can hear this voice, 50
Yeah.
feet ahead of him, 100 feet ahead of him.
So Will's just gonna say we work for Lord Estebar. We have the same mission. Like sassy.
He draws another arrow and just pulls it back taut and is just pointing basically straight at Will, but he doesn't know that. I'm gonna assume that Will just takes one step to one side.
Yes, yeah. He was just gonna slowly start walking in one direction.
and and he says, "Anyone can say anything. Show yourself."
So you'll see us all in a minute, and I'll explain it all. It's okay. Just know I'm watching.
And that's what the group walks up to, is the disembodied voice of Will saying, "Just know I'm watching." And this man with a bow pulled taut towards the space where Will was, where Will's voice emanated from. And then as you guys kind of come into view, he turns on the rest of you guys with his bow, and he looks at you, and he's like, "Hold! Who are you? Why are you south of Edgetown?"
We're
I'm gonna
here for the Lord.
A-test. Hey, tell him, fool.
We're here for the Lord. We're going to go kill some orcs. We already cleared the mine.
And he drops, he's still got the arrow knocked, but he lets the tension in the bow loose, and drops it slightly. You're here to reinforce the Rangers?
No, we're freelancers. There's not a whole lot of support down here, and the Lord's looking for any help he can get. We're help, so we're getting.
And he puts the arrow in slings the bow back
getting.
around his back, and he says, "Lord Estebar must be getting desperate or on bad terms with the guild. Did you hear anything about him being on bad terms with the guild?"
We never talked about the guild.
He's strictly to business, right?
Yeah.
He can only talk about business at that table for some reason. He just sit at the table.
Just really wanted us to kill the orcs, so we're gonna go try and do that.
And at this point, Sigbert has popped in from behind him, and he's seen him coming and drawn his bow back again and turned to look. And Sigbert at this point he's he can hear all the voices, and he's still got his sword out, and he puts his hand out. He's like, "Whoa!" He looks over at you guys. He's like, "We got this under control?"
He's like, "Yes, fool. He's with us." And I'm gonna kind of signal him over.
And Sigbert and this man are just kind of sustaining eye contact. Sigbert just sheaths his sword and makes his way over to where the rest of you guys are.
Oh yeah, by the way, we know about your second guy up the road too, so don't try to come behind us. But the point is that we're here to at least see if we can help you guys.
And he cocks his head and whistles. And a couple moments later, the young man emerges from the side of the forest where the road was, and he's got his sword drawn. He comes out looking kind of eager, and then he kind of sees what's going on. He looks over, and he's just kind of gripping his sword, looking at the older man. And he's like, "Who are they?" They say the Lord sent them. Helping with the orcs. He's like, "Oh, Lord knows we need it. How many men have we lost this week?" And the old man just puts his hand out to stop him from talking.
When that happens, I'm gonna be like, I see you putos got a young boy too, and I'm gonna kind of gesture towards Reed,
who is still in his Iamunde armor. His, I guess he's wearing the Shield of Prophecy now, but got her brand big and proud on his chest. And he's like, "What's wrong with being a young boy?"
Because you say stupid shit like that.
Roll a diplomacy check. Make an impression on this guy.
Oh, what?
Oh, bummer. What's your? I mean, you got a modifier. What's your final?
13. 13 altogether.
13 doesn't get an outright laugh or even a chuckle, but it will obviously like loosen his body, language, kind of at that remark, and he, still has his hand out towards the other one, and he just kind of like gives him a look, that everybody kind of can identify as like the look a stern parent gets their child. Wait till we get home. That look.
Yeah.
So like looks at him with that, and says, "Have you?" He says, "I don't imagine you've run into any already. We're on our way back for a resupply, but we just had some trouble with some. And now that you guys are like looking at them, it's obvious that these guys have like seen battle in the last 48 hours. They've probably had a night of camping in between, but they've obviously fought something recently, and they'll, like we just found a small party, 4 or 5, took care of some business." He says it like very sternly, kind of like took care of some business, like he's very proud of it. And he says, but we can only be out here for so long. Says, can we help you in any way? I mean, if you're here to slay orcs, we are happy to facilitate that.
Well, now that we're all friends here, why don't you tell us what the real situation is? And I'm going to roll that as a diplomacy gather information, because apparently
That's a thing.
I have that.
All right,
That's
sounds
a
great.
thing.
Ooh.
Trying to use my character. All right, so that's going to be a 19.
That's a 19.
Damn.
19. Well, I've got 9 skill points in that ability. It's the first time I've ever used it.
Nice. He's going to, he's going to understand. He's going to read between the lines of what you ask, and he's answering you with an attitude that would be more appropriate for if the words a test kid said was, those lords on their high horses don't know shit. Tell us what the sit rep really is. I know that's not the words that a test uses, but that's the way he's answering this question. And he says, well, he turns over and looks, and he's like, we lost Sid, we lost Ollie. He said, I've lost 2 men this week, 3 men the week before, and a man the week before that. The Lord won't send me any reinforcements except for some rat catchers here. We've got more orcs than we've ever had to deal with before. More orcs in the last fortnight than we've had in the year and a half prior. So I don't know what the fuck is happening with all of them. And he says, and normally they wear bones and pelts and troll hides and things that that they've killed and slaughtered, but these ones have all manufactured, crude horn helmets. It's a clan we haven't seen before, and Reed is going to kind of go a little pale at that, and he's going to kind of like quietly, and you guys can hear him, but it's not said very confidently. He's like, the orcs in my vision were wearing helmets like that.
Yeah. Do you have one?
And
a helmet.
And the young man, pipes up, and he's like, no, but if you travel about another 3 hours north and 2 hours east, you'll find a nice pile of orc parts and a few heads with helms probably still on them.
And anything else other than orcs?
The old man will take over again and say, no one except us rangers travel south of Edgetown, and the errant logger or the adventurer or two, occasionally someone thinks that they are going to be able to, discover something grand in the ruins south of here. But, usually we only have to worry about the occasional gorilla bear, there's been a griffin or two, the occasional mandrake even, an array of dire wolves and bears and a few, giant burrowing insects. Normal wilderness forest stuff. But they all have territories and behaviors, and uh, we've carefully selected different areas outside of these territories with which we hunt and camp on and minimize the impacts that we have and the amount of those types of creatures that we need deal with. The orcs are a different story. They're far and away the greatest threat to Edgetown at the moment.
But no dragons, right?
No dragons, no. But funny you should mention, we did find a week back a strange banner that we were not sure if it was what it was intended to be. It was crudely made, looked like a bat's wing of some kind. But I suppose it could have been a dragon's wing also. Not, of course, actually off of a dragon, crudely made from bits of wood and bone and leather and things, but that may have been what that was.
All right.
But the beasts themselves,
most,
no, just the one that's been harassing the sailors, but we don't, it's too much of a bother for them to feed here, too much cover. And he points up at the skyline that is dotted with trees everywhere. You can't really see the sky.
Yeah. How many orcs have you faced in these last fortnight?
And he stops and he thinks. 2 dozen? Probably. Yeah. 20, 30, maybe.
Seems like you got like an infestation.
Says that's what I've been trying to tell Lord Estebar, and I've been begging him for reinforcements, and because I can feel it in my gut. Something's not right. There's too many. We never have this many. What are they doing this far north of the gap?
Yeah, I think you got some reinforcements coming eventually. They're just, on their way.
Did he tell you how long?
I kind of look to the rest of the party.
I think Simone just be like, "Hey, fool! I don't remember him saying about no reinforcements."
So is he, or is he
up,
not
man.
sending reinforcements?
I think he's at 2 weeks.
Oh.
Does Monzo actually remember a date, or is he just being pointedly flippant? Or is that like an honest answer?
Somewhere in between, because I'm pretty sure it's 2 weeks, but this was a couple days ago now, so.
Sounds good. And he's going, that's too long. Because that means I'll lose another 2 or 3 men at least. Well, maybe not. What exactly are you doing for the Lord? He says, I can show you, where our most recent battle was, and I can tell you the hotter areas of the forest right now. If that's something you're interested in.
Yeah, I mean, could we do? Could we talk amongst our companions?
You're asking him for a moment to yourselves.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Is Will still invisible?
Yes, he is.
He says, as soon as I'm sure that all of your companions are here, and he glances nervously around, and he says, where's the one I heard first?
He's on guard duty, fool.
He says, come now. I showed you my hand, and he gestures towards the young man who you called out. And he says, if we are all truly on the same side.
Has it been about 5 minutes now?
You're getting there. Yeah.
Okay. So
Will,
I guess
I'll give you this. Will knows that his choice, or Simone and Will, I guess, both know that their time to make that choice is dwindling. Like there's a minute left in this spell, and he can either, come out now or be outed in a minute.
All right. Will walk out, and then as the spell will end, he'll just appear in
Okay.
front of them. Yeah. Maybe he goes, "Were you looking for me?"
What the is? You have a talking beast? Looking over at the party.
I'm gonna be like, "Hey, fool, he's with me, all right?"
If you
And then Simone just kind of, or not Simone, Will just kind of comes over next to Simone and just like starts like doing that thing where they lick their paw and then move their ear,
right.
lick their paw, move their ear. Yeah.
Cute.
Kythar comes out of view and just doesn't say anything, but just stares at them menacingly.
Oh God. I'm gonna. Can I see that happening?
Yeah, I mean, Kythar's not hiding himself.
Yeah. I'm gonna be like, that means he likes you, fools.
Quite. Yes. He's going to say, I'm sorry, we missed formalities. And he, puts his weapons away and extends, like a wave in greeting. And he says, I am Lee, and this young man is one of my ranger wards, Brennan.
Someone will kind of give like a little bow and be like, "What's up, putos?" And then I'm gonna elbow Monzo. I'm gonna elbow Monzo and A-Test and be like, "Hey, fool, be polite."
Oh, I'm gonna lift an invisible hat. Nice to make your acquaintance this fine afternoon.
I just say Kythar.
Just gruffly through your glare.
Yeah.
Go Sigbert, point at Sigbert, Reed, and I'll point at Reed. And then I'll go the professor over here.
And he puts his hands behind his buttons. Arthur Struva.
And then I'll end it.
Going from his points of his toes to his heels. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's everybody, right? I'm not forgetting anybody. And then I'll go and I'm a Tusk.
I'm about to say other than yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'll go, I'm a Tusk.
Excellent. Well, and he clasps his hands. Says, now that formalities are out of the way, he says, I must admit, I am quite relieved. I was not eager to have another engagement so close to Edgetown. We haven't had one within a day's ride in my 30 years as a ranger.
Well, actually, speaking of that, since you must know the area, right? So we're trying to find the best way through this, whole area. So what would you recommend? Where are the hot spots, like you said?
And you guys have maps that you were given from Vaz in
Yes, we do.
the Estebar estate. So as you pull out your maps and he pulls out his maps, he's able to mark a lot of the forest. And if you look at your let me see here. If you look at your map, your big map, you can see I didn't put trees in there, but there's a forest in the first couple of days between Edgetown, and he is basically gesturing. He's identified most of the. Let me see here. The southeast portion, right above where the P is on Crooked Gap, and that big mountain is with those foothills. He's basically that whole area is blanketed, but let me see here, the west side of the road, he's only got one or two kind of little spots drawn out. So it's obvious that there is one side of this road that has had more orc interactions than the other.
Gotcha. Okay. And it'd be like, and what about the gap, fool? Like, are they covering that whole thing?
Penny's gonna say, that's what I'm hoping to find out. He said our supplies ran short. We haven't been able to make it very far in a day. Multiple battles and skirmishes and getting distracted, finding tracks and having to follow them to find these multiple small bands of orcs. Says we haven't made it to the gap. It's 4 days ride, and we only usually ride all the way out to the gap once a season. But we haven't gotten anywhere near that far these last few weeks.
Well, we're gonna try to punch a hole through, fool. So, maybe it's best that you ride back, get some supplies, and then, like, try to rally some people and follow us through.
And he says yes, and he pats like a big satchel he has on the side. He says,
Yeah.
I'm going to hope that that all of this evidence will convince Lord Estebar of how dire the situation is. And as he pats the sack, you guys can hear the sound of like ivory clanking around in there. Like this thing is like bulging full of bones, teeth, something.
Oh no. He has a bunch of teeth on him, orc teeth potentially, and they're worth money in pairs. I feel like Simone's too good. That is a very tempting offer, though. God damn it. We wouldn't have to kill orcs. We could just kill this guy and take his teeth. Right?
Totally.
Is that a conversation you're having out loud in character?
No. I'm having it to myself. I think Simone would then just be like, he would probably play it okay and say like, oh yeah, that should, like, get the reinforcements you need, fool, and some gold in your pocket.
And he says, ranging is not only satisfying, but profitable indeed.
Yes, it is, fool.
All deflated. Yes, it is.
So I'm gonna pull out my map, and so I'm gonna try to like draw a like line through the areas that he highlighted that were the least likely to get hit by orcs or whatever.
So you guys are going to travel on the west side of the road, basically up against the mountains and foothills that are the coastal side, and you're going to stay as far away from the Stillwater Basin side as possible. But there is like a weaving kind of route that kind of leads toward. You're going to have to get more than 40 feet off the road, much more than 40 feet off the road to follow this trail. And there's going to be some like real survival rolls to not get lost in this process. Like you're going to be going through some like uncharted territory, but the forest is going to give way before too long, and then it's just going to be hilly and mountainous, and it'll be a little easier to not get lost in there. Right?
I guess I'll turn around to the rest of the party, and then the other way would be more forest.
Yeah, there's
the one that I guess that's heavier amount of orcs.
It's heavier forest for another like half day, but ultimately it still breaks into like rocky, boulderous, mountainous terrain.
It's like the Highlands of Scotland kind of thing, right?
Yeah, not as much plains, a little more jagged.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm gonna turn to the rest of the party and be like, "What do you guys think? We might get lost one way, but we're definitely gonna see orcs the other way."
What time of day is it?
Let me see here. You guys left relatively early. You found the horse trail. You traveled for a few more hours. This is probably only like an hour or two after your lunch break. 2.
So it's like, you said 2?
2, yeah.
I'm going to say both of those they're very consequential decisions, and I know some of our members are not all there with us right now.
That's metagaming.
Fuck them, they're not here. You guys make the decisions.
Yeah, I agree.
No, honestly, if you guys want to keep playing, I completely support you guys saying fuck them and making the decisions. But if there's a consensus to stop, then it's your guys' game. So whatever you want. You guys are the ones that showed up, so you guys get to choose.
My vote would be we continue playing until combat, and then that's when they can come in and play their characters. At this point, we can't just stop role playing because they're not here, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I was just
I wouldn't want you guys to stop for me. Tyler, what's your decision? What do you have to say about that?
Let's do it.
Wow. So yours.
Okay, then because we're probably gonna go for another. I don't know. I actually can't tell how far we're gonna go, but I need to take at least a quick 5 so I can go pee.
Okay.
So let's do that super quick, and then we'll keep going.
All right. Cool. I guarantee we're gonna run to combat pretty quickly, so I don't imagine.
Kind of sounds like you guys are going that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's fine. If we get to combat, we don't want to do it, then we'll.
Bladder needed it for sure.
Yeah.
So
You got to do what you got to do.
Back up. I know. No.
Soto, are you back?
Yeah, back.
Okay, so what has just happened in the moment is that Lee has told Simone that he's heading back to Lord Estebar, hoping to convince him how dire the situation is, and patted a satchel full of some kind of ivory. And they've had a discussion about how it is not only satisfying but profitable to be a ranger. And that's the moment we're in. You guys are still having the conversation with Lee and Brennan. What? Oh, that's funny. I didn't even think about that. That those two names are. Oh, that's funny. Anyway, you guys are having this conversation with these guys. What? I just want to remind you where you're at. So this dialogue has just happened. The old man's marked these maps. Simone's kind of like worked this route through with him, and he said, "Yeah, there was a camp here," and he's like describing landmarks to you that he knows from his 30 years in the forest. There's a tree which lightning struck. It's split in a distinct Y shape. It's still a little charred in the middle, and at that tree you've got about a quarter mile to go until and he's just kind of like giving you this kind of direction through the forest and then through the mountainous rocky terrain beyond it as he's like describing this route. What's the rest of the party doing while Simone's like drawing this map and getting this all put together?
And the idea is that, just so you know, I'm working out with him two directions essentially. One that is, from one side of the road, and one's on the other. And I know that one side of the road has more orcs than the other, but there's a chance that, we get lost easier on the other side.
Right, and there's a bunch of stretches on the on the east side, closer to the Stillwater Basin, that it's just like a red strip on his map, and he's just got like a half mile like slab cut out of it, and just like, yeah, you're just gonna, if you cross this line into this half mile, I ran into them fucking everywhere, and there's like multiple bands like that get wider and wider the farther south you go.
Gotcha.
So he can show you around, some of the places that they've been camping, and where where the Rangers have been able to perform ambushes on the orcs. But he's also basically letting you know, like, these are the zones we got ambushed in just traveling through, and that means that they've got a pretty high prevalence here if they find us every time we come this far, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the idea is that I am trying to weave through those bands, and if I have to cut through one, then we have to cut through one, essentially, and try to find the best way to that gap.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. On the east side, which would be the more or less direct route, is there's multiple bands, and you'd have to go through, like, quote unquote orc territory according to Lee's map, like 3 or 4 times. And on the west side, there are patches where it's likely that you will run into orcs, or there's a chance that you'll run into orcs. But there's none of those like guaranteed stretches on the west side, only on the east side. But he can show you a route through both, absolutely.
Yeah.
And my question stands to the rest of the party. This takes a little time as Simone and Lee are poring over this map. What are you guys doing?
I think Mons would just be taking it easy, just waiting for the task to be done.
I don't think a task would be doing anything specific other than just waiting for the next thing we're going to do. I definitely wouldn't try and steal the bag full of orc teeth, so it's not really a concern from my end.
It's also on his chest, so.
Sure, but, we just kill the guy and take it. But
we did get all the information that we need already.
Yeah. So, but I'm not gonna do that, and I'm good.
Do that.
There's a lot of character growth going on in the group.
I know. I'm so proud of you guys. We're not just gonna murder. It's like it's really the first opportunity that you guys have had. Like we could murder these guys with no consequences.
Yeah. It's weird how it dawned on me. I feel weird about myself right now.
You're like I had a self-realization.
It's like we could just kill these people, and probably nothing would happen.
And probably not. You know. Yep.
Besides karma.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So.
Yeah.
So anyway,
yeah.
if nobody's doing anything, then Lee's gonna wrap up pouring over this map. He's going to, and on this map too, on both sides, he's marked. And there, it would be like an uncomfortably long day of travel for you guys. But he's like marked where like campsites are that the rangers camp at. But the rangers like know the forest and they know where all these like little trails are and they can get through it a lot easier. What takes them a comfortable 8-hour travel day would take you guys, depending on the survival roll, closer to 10 or 12 hours to be a longer day into probably some of the night hours, or you'd have to get going before sunrise. But just so that you guys know, he also marks those.
Okay.
He wishes you guys well.
Okay.
And they say we've still got some daylight left, so we're going to continue north back toward Edgetown. But Godspeed and kill all the green bastards.
And be like, wait, are there any more rangers out there, puto?
And he says, there's a few bands. He says, but we've been thinning out and going back for resupplies more often, so once you're more than 2 or 3 days out from Edgetown, I wouldn't expect to run into any more.
Maybe like, if we do, is there anything we can say to make sure we don't like accidentally shoot at each other?
Yeah, well, what was that whistle you did? Is that what everybody has, or?
And the old man smiles, and the young man is, how did you know about that? Totally giving it away. And the old man kind of like rolls his eyes and asks if anybody can, emulate the call of a nightingale, basically. And he, anybody who wants to, he'll like take 20 minutes and teach this whistle to.
The test doesn't care.
I'm gonna say, Kythar. You're pretty strong, and we need like a loud whistler, right? Maybe you and Monzo.
I could try.
We'll just go ahead and have you roll a performance check whenever it comes up, bud. Yeah, but anybody who wants to can take 20 minutes and learn how to do this whistle. So Kythar's going to do that. Is anybody else going to?
Yeah, I will as well.
Monzo does, the guy who asked the question. That makes sense.
I will not.
And I feel like Sigbert would. I don't know if Reed would. Arthur might. I'm gonna default and say Sigbert and Arthur did too, just for giggles.
Yeah.
And then, he makes sure that you guys have everything you need. If you guys have any more questions for him, this is kind of your opportunity. But they're going to continue traveling north while you guys continue traveling southeast or southwest, whatever you choose.
I'm gonna be like, thanks, Putos, for your time, and I'm gonna be like, wait, hold on, and I'm gonna ask the party, which route do you guys want to take?
I think the west route.
The one that's through the orcs?
Well,
No, the
what I heard.
East route's through the orcs. West route is clear.
Oh, that's the one near the coast, right?
Yeah, the one near the coast is the clearer one.
And that's the one that Monzo wants to do?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Tess?
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably almost die either way, so whichever way you guys think is best.
The problem is that Do you think we can try to survive in that area?
I'd rather not, but you know.
I know we can fight. We hella kill kobolds, right?
I don't
What's a
think dwarves
kobold
and
to
kobolds are.
Ah, come on. They're like the same thing, right?
Something tells me no.
Kythar, what do you think? You're gonna treat. I thought you liked fighting.
Yeah, but I've been out here without a lot of alcohol, so I'm always empty. So
On
the
the
drive
end of day 2. No, halfway through day 2.
Sounds about
Almost
right.
empty.
He's starting to go with withdrawals. He's not looking good, guys.
I put that in my notes. Kythar ran out of alcohol. Day 2 of the quest. That's canon to me. So
Yeah, I know.
That's canon to
lore.
me.
So is there any other way we can go other than the two routes?
I'm looking at my. Here, look at the map.
Are you asking Lee before he leaves, or are you talking amongst yourselves?
I was asking. Simone just got the map back, so
Yeah. I was gonna be like, well, look, we drew it so that we would have to go through the least amount of orcs.
Yeah, why don't we do that? We'll still run into a few. We can still get a few horns, and we can make it on our way. I think we should go through the least amount, which is the west side, right? It's a line through the west side.
Well, so this is what I'm.
Yeah.
So this is what I mean. Is that we might see a few orcs on the left side, east side or west side, I think. Sorry.
There you go. Yeah.
But there's a higher chance that we can get lost, which means there's a higher chance of us running, I'm assuming, into a bigger band of orcs. Or we can take the other route, which is the east route, which seems to be that for sure we're going to run into orcs, but we might be able to control the amount of orcs that we run into. It's essentially what it comes down to. Fool.
Don't scare me. Whatever you guys think.
I'd like to go through the east route. I'm not about to get. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die from orcs, fool. I'm not gonna die from starvation and shit.
Yeah,
that'd be
let's
pretty.
Not die from starvation. Sounds great.
What do you think, Kythar?
Yeah. Don't want to die.
I know, but which way?
Anybody got a coin?
I'll give him 1 gold to flip.
All right. Heads, we go left. Tails, we go right. Fuck. Let me.
Do you have a coin? You can roll a d20. Odds are left, evens are right.
Odds are
left.
Left. Even.
It makes the L when you hold your hand up.
Shut the fuck. Even right. We're going right.
Which would be east on the map. The right side.
Otherwise known as the danger zone.
Fuck it. Maybe we could take their alcohol.
Okay, so I think it's voted. We're gonna go on the right side.
Okay, great.
And then I'm gonna let them know. I'm like, hey, fool, we're going through the east route. Once you get resupply, follow us up. We're gonna cut a path through, fool.
And Lee says, we'll be at least 3 days behind you, but we'll.
That's fine.
He says, I'll direct the Rangers to focus on the east side of the road. Absolutely.
All right, fool. It was nice meeting you, Lee. And Brenner, was it Brenner?
He says, Brennan. Make it very enunciating.
Sorry, fool. There's this other Brenner I knew. Anyway, you guys have a safe journey back.
This is likewise.
Don't die.
And they, trot. They remount their horses and trot off back north in the direction you guys came. And you guys still have about half a travel day The next ranger campsite that Lee marked on your map is probably going to take you an hour or two past sundown if you wanted to camp there specifically. Otherwise, you guys can just kind of keep on keeping on. And I mean, what are you guys doing? You let me know.
I'm just gonna kind of look at the map and see if that where they last camped is that in a orc encounter zone, I guess.
No, and most of the camps that he's marked are actually on the west side. There's only one more camp marked on the east side, and then after today, there are no safe ranger camps that he has marked on the west side of the road.
Gotcha. Okay, I guess we'll just try to meet. Get to the. I would imagine that we would try to get to the next ranger camp before it then diverts.
Agree.
That's majority of current players. So, I gotta sneeze again. Thank you. So you guys arrive at the end of your second day, near the end of the forest. The forest on the west side does extend for about another half day. So you guys will be doing a little bit more forest time tomorrow before it breaks and you get into the truly hilly terrain. But
does it start thinning out though?
I was
like
about
it's
to say,
not
but even still, the trees are thinning out just a touch. It's not really so much that they're thinning out; it's that they're changing to different types of trees, which are thinner and allow you. And their leaves are higher and allow you more visibility. They are spread a little bit farther apart, but you can feel the difference in terrain the farther north you travel. The inclines and the declines and the more jagged corners. But it's not. I specifically don't want you guys imagining regular natural, uh, boulders and hills and things. Like when I describe the territory, the terrain is jagged. I mean that there are the stone's almost jutting out of the ground rather than a large rounded boulder which is settled in place. There are fairly steep drops which drop 4 or 5 feet before they level out, and then there's a 60-degree incline for a little while before it flat tops out, and it's very just the terrain's getting more and more erratic the farther south you guys are going. But it is still forest. It is still forest. There are still trees, and so as you guys approach the rangers' camp, it is going to be after hours. You guys are basically setting up camp in the dark, but you are setting up a forest camp in the dark. As per the usual, you've got 2 players to do watch. I guess you have 3 now to do watch. So, because I've got Arthur, Reed, and Sigbert at this point. So, who wants to do the other shift tonight?
I'll do it.
Wow, Kythar's not just going to be passed out drunk. He's actually going to do a shift of watch.
Well, he's going. Yeah, he's out of booze and he's going through withdrawals right now.
He's out of booze.
He's not going to be able to sleep
on the watch. Pass out.
Oh man, I love that. That's great.
I'm all, Afu, I kind of like you when you're sober. You're quiet.
Oh, piss off.
I'm gonna say,
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
If you gather a bunch of berries and put them in a jug and leave them for a long time, that starts to become
wine.
Exactly.
Okay, hold on. I got a response to this.
We learned about that.
Hold on. God damn it. I have to wait for those fucking berries. I'll become a paladin.
Reed's not here to
I think they call that dungeon wine from where I'm from.
Dungeon wine. It's not jail wine. It's dungeon wine. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
We call it hooch.
Go for it.
I was just gonna be like, hey, just remember how it feels to be sober, fool. I think you'll enjoy it more.
Kythar's too hungover or too withdrawaled to answer that. But he does
Okay.
need to roll a perception check for his watch.
Okay. A natural 20.
You are in the first watch, so the sun has just gone. The sun has just gone down an hour or two before you guys set up camp. Takes you another hour to set up camp, and your watch is only 2 hours, so we're probably talking like 11 o'clock at night, not quite midnight yet. And you're, up with the shakes, thinking about booze, dreaming about the sweet, sweet taste of whiskey on your tongue, and you are like sitting on the ground and you feel like a low rumble.
I look down at my gut. It's like, well, that come from you.
No, it's rumbling through the stone that you're sitting on, and before long, these vibrations actually wake up the rest of the members of camp as a like bleeding sound comes through, like a crying, almost like a goat's yell, and you know, Kythar can see approaching the campsite, making quite a ruckus, is a large group of I don't know how to describe them. They're basically like they're like deer with extra long legs. Basically, they're super slender, um, but they're like bleeding, and they're obvious. And they stand like 5 or 6 feet tall with like all the extra length in their leg, um, but they're not. Like Kythar's not worried about one of these things bowling him over. They're pretty lanky, and Kythar's a sturdy dude. And they're not coming straight at the campsite, but they're running right next to it, adjacent to it. And there's like a grouping of like 24 of them, and they're obviously like spooked and running away from something. And you have a couple of minutes here, or a couple of moments here rather, where you can see this. Your party is starting to wake up, but nobody really knows what's going on yet.
Gotcha. I yell to the group, get your asses up. Not looking good.
Bro, what fool?
Stand up.
Those big ass things.
As they're all just like, galloping through.
What time is it?
I'm gonna look. Task wants to turn and look what they're running from.
It's around 11, I think David said.
Yeah, it's around 11 o'clock. And they're just running north from the south.
What is south?
More forest. Eventually, the Crooked Gap. Some of those bands that.
I'm gonna grab my crossbow, cast light on a crossbow bolt, and shoot it out into the distance.
Great. What's the range on your crossbow? Probably doesn't matter, actually. Well, I'm gonna roll. You should roll. Roll percentile dice. I want to see how long it takes for you to hit a tree.
Oh wait, is that a percentile die?
No, percentile die is the two d10s. The dice that has the 2 zeros on it, the 20, 40, 60, blah 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 blah, and then a d10 also.
I don't know what the 20, 40, 61 is, but I have just the 2 d10s.
You're cool. That is a 90, which is pretty far. So what's the max range? If you shot your crossbow as far as it would go, how far would it go? Like, what's your max range increment on it? The last box with the modifiers.
Oh right, I can always look it up here. The last box with the modifier is 320 feet with a -4 bonus damage.
So like 250 feet out, this thing lands on a tree, and everything's still moving, kind of in the wake of this stampede of creatures coming through. But after a few moments, the leaves stop to sway. The breeze sets in, and there's just a single point of light 200 feet away, illuminating some trees, which are then casting long shadows on the spaces behind them.
Yeah, I
But
think
they're
it's
dark.
like 20 feet of light.
Yeah, that's cool. Even if it's fine.
Yes, it glow like a torch, whatever torch light is.
Torch is 30 feet of bright light and then 30 feet of dim light outside of that. So torches really illuminate 60 feet. They just eliminate the second increment of 30 less well than the first increment of 30. So, that being said, there are no like obvious creatures standing in the light. Just trees, just space, just boulders.
I'm gonna look up.
I'm gonna be like, you shot a torch from where we're camping at?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
See what's out there.
We're like not trying to draw attention, fool, right?
I mean, it's whatever's coming is gonna be here. Seems like.
And I'm gonna look out at where he shot the arrow to see if I see anything.
It's kind of spooky because it's like way out there, just kind of like emanating light all by itself in the middle of the forest. But there's no like figures.
I'm gonna be like, see, there's nothing there. This puto got scared because he's running out of alcohol.
Okay, maybe I overreacted.
That's okay, fool. Are you a little jittery? You don't like the forest or what?
I mean, forceful orcs, according to Reed over here, might be a dragon, so maybe a little. Already attacked by a dragon once,
I have a feeling, fool, the more pieces of this armor we get, the more dragons we're going to be attacked by. But let me tell you, that shield that Reed's got completely protects the wearer from dragon fire. So that puto just got to be in front of you and you're good. You won't be like burnt to a crisp.
Try to make sure to stand behind him. Not in front.
Please don't stand in front, fool. We need your magic missiles or whatever you do.
Please don't stand in front, fool.
So, all right, I'm gonna go back to bed. Hey, you, and I'm gonna point at Kythar. Come on, man. Come on, man. We're trying to sleep here. Don't get scared, fool.
Y'all the ones that woke up.
You woke us up, fool.
The stampede of creatures coming through right next to your camp is what woke you guys up.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I see. I guess I'm still thinking you, fool, and I'm gonna lay back down and try to go to sleep.
I'll undo the light spell.
Cool.
Go to sleep.
The rest of Kythar's watch is going to pass uneventfully. And you guys are going to make your way through this night, through everybody else's watches. Boom, boom, boom. I rolled 3d20s in those rolls. So, I think that I know we were talking about doing it in combat, but you guys have gotten more or less lucky at this point and haven't had any combat. Do you wanna call it and
Yeah,
pick
I
it
guess
up
this
here?
is around the time we normally would, so this is probably a good breaking point.
Right. Cool.
Nice.
Then great. We'll have quite a bit to tell the party. You guys are underway on the next leg of the quote unquote main quest, the big important thing that Cade wanted you to do, and yeah, this is great. You guys should have plenty to tell him.
Yeah, you got to do the main quest. You have a bunch of side quests, and then you just divert from there. Right?
You guys turned down Ginny. She tried to give you a side quest.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, cool. Well, thanks so much for playing. I really appreciate you guys being here, especially because only about half of us were here. But trade-off is we ran through this content pretty fucking quick because
Oh man,
there's only 4 of you.
I felt like we were fucking sprinting.
Yeah,
Still be an edge town.
probably,
I know,
honestly.
right?
Or if like just left, you'd be like camping for the first night. It'd be like, all right, cool, you know, and it'd be 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be 9:40. Sweet. Well, thanks a lot for being here, guys. Hopefully next week we're used to playing on Wednesdays and everybody's fucking here.
I agree.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
No problem, guys.
Appreciate it, David.
I will
All right, cool.
catch you between now and next week.
Sounds
All
good.
right.
I'll see you
Later,
guys
guys.
later.
Night, gents.
Well, sweet. That was like a really good session. Truth be told, I was a little nervous about this because I had the like idea of the Rangers coming through and having that be an interaction the party had, and I wasn't sure when or how I wanted that to happen. And it just like worked out really well that this turned into a 100% roleplay session, and we didn't miss anybody. Combat would be hard because I specifically balance a lot of combat encounters with this group for 7 players at level like 4 or 5 or something, and so you know, for them to lose 3 of those players, one of them is the healer, one of them is a DPS tanky dude, and the other one is just a straight DPS. Like that's, you know, a gunslinger, a fighter, and a paladin. Those are important people to lose for combat. So this worked out really well. I'm really glad that I'm really proud of my players for not just murdering Lee and Brennan, which I am laughing really hard at my subconscious putting that together. Like I'm playing D&D. I've been watching Brennan Lee Mulligan DM people playing D&D on fucking Exandria Calamity, and then I need to come up with the names of 2 NPCs, and one of them is Lee, and one of them is Brennan. My brain makes obvious connections. Fucking funny. Fucking funny. So, let's see what we got here. There are 2 of you. Okay. Well, let's raid Jarl then. Raid. Jarl of Goats. Alright, guys. I guess I gotta actually do the raid thing first. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on Friday for that game. It's a totally different campaign. We actually run the Dragon of Icespire Peak and the Lost Mine of Phandelver. And then we'll be back again on Wednesday to continue this game with the full complement of players, hopefully. Be wonderful to each other, guys. Thank you so much. And I will say hi to Jarl, treat him nice, and I will catch you guys in a couple days. Cheers.
Trying to see if there is anything of this sort here, so we don't, you know, act like a bunch
Yes,
of...
well, don't press any buttons, apparently. They might anger the stat.
Oh, I get an inspiration point right at the end of tonight's game.
Oh, nice looking.
You know what? I think you should carry it over. You let us carry it over all the time when we get something near the end.
Don't you dare dishonor Bob.
2 stone bobs animate briefly.
No.
They both look at, one looks at John, the other one looks at Tommy, and they raise their hands, and then it's pressed again. So now the statues are just like...
Bob, in Bob fashion.
Sylvan, it's your turn, my dude.
I love that you just let that happen.
But why
Wait,
not?
oh,
That's-
shit.
I was sitting there thinking, well, it would be a button, so there would have to be an off. Can you imagine a rat accidentally pressing it?
Yeah, I
and the cards
imagine
are being
it's a button
attacked?
someone would press, like, as they're talking to somebody. Oh shit, I need help, you know?
I will say when you do press it though, you see the honeycomb shape on the floor. You do see arcane bolts of energy go to the statues, and then when you press it again, it's like...
Okay, cool, interesting.
And it appears the brain shines when you press down on it, and then turns off when you don't.
Cosmic brain, at least.
Did anyone look at the stuff on this table?
No.
Not yet.
If I don't hear any